So I am 16 weeks pregnant in 2 days.
Hi everyone, so I am 15 weeks pregnant.
To pregnancy week 15.
Hello everyone and welcome back. I am 15 weeks pregnant. I feel like the pregnancy is progressing and I'm being left behind because 15 weeks. Crazy. So I had a list of things to talk to you about and now I can't find where I put it. Yes, I was going to write it down because I use my phone to record. So I'm just going to have to try and guess what I was going to talk to you about today. But first, let's start with some baby buys. So this one's actually one that I just keep forgetting to show you guys from previous weeks. I went ahead and bought a Doppler. I had a Doppler in Roman's pregnancy. It was a weird one. It was like quite flat, and I think it was in the shape of a love heart or something. But it wasn't like one of these ones with the cord and everything like that. So I didn't have one with Mila Rose's pregnancy, and I don't recall that I had one in Micah's pregnancy. So last pregnancy, gonna enjoy it, do all the things that I feel like I didn't do with the other pregnancies, and so I got one of these. Google, Dr. Google tells me that it's okay, like, once a week for no more than 5 minutes. So I probably use it even less than that. So I got that for, I think it was like $50 or something. And then my friend comes around and she's like, oh, I've got one of those. I'm like, are you serious? So I could have just borrowed hers, but never mind. I have my own. I can sell it on when I'm done with it. So there's that. I think I said in one of my previous videos that every grocery shop, which I do about once a fortnight, I'm buying one baby item, which is kind of boring because the only real baby items I can get from the supermarket are wipes and nappies and more wipes and nappies. Like, they've got bottles and that kind of thing, but it's like, I just don't think I need to be buying bottles. It's too early to be buying, spoons and plates and all that kind of thing because I'm buying for a newborn, not a 18-month-old. So, yeah, all my supermarket buys are going to be like nappies and wipes. Anyway, I thought I'd try this different. I actually opened it because I wanted to have a look. It says these are Nupi New Zealand Eco Lux nappies, and I don't think these were available when I had my last. A whole bunch of new products have come out since I've had my last baby, which was 6 years ago. So I wanted to try out all these new brands, and these looked really cute, and I was like, I wonder if the nappy themselves look really cute. And they don't. To be honest, they don't. They just look like a normal. I bought the expensive nappies to look at so that you don't have to. But I'll let you know how they actually go when I have a baby in my arms and can put these nappies on them. So that's what it looks like. I feel like this is still a really big nappy. It's only because my babies are really teeny tiny, and this actually looks like a really massive nappy for what my baby's sizes are. So that might not be used for the first month or two. And something else about my baby size will come up in this video too, which I'll talk about shortly. But anyway, so the other thing I bought was a silicone colostrum collector pack from Haakaa. Haakaa did not exist in Roman's pregnancy. I don't believe it existed in Mila's pregnancy. Micah's it may have, but was still fairly new, and I didn't have any of this stuff. This here would have been really helpful in Micah's pregnancy because, in birth, because I was collecting colostrum for him because he was an emergency C-section and he was very little, and at the hospital I was like expressing onto a spoon and feeding him that way. So these would have been really helpful back then, but that's right. So I've got them now because I am going to be having another C-section, so I could even be like expressing some colostrum pre-C-section perhaps, I don't know. And then I also got the Ladybug silicone breast milk collectors. So not to say that this is going to be exactly the same, but I am an overproducer of milk. I've never had a problem with milk supply. So I usually have an overproduction of milk. I can fill bottles left, right and centre when I'm expressing. So I thought that I'd try out these breast milk collectors because when I have my letdown, I let down a lot of milk from the other breast that is not being breastfed from. So they just kind of pop onto your boob. It doesn't express any milk. It just collects the milk that is already dripping out without any help. So when I opened this to have a look, I was like, oh, they look like I'm getting little breast implants. Look like that. So they're very soft. So we'll see if I mean, some of the stuff I may not even use, which is fine, whatever. Last pregnancy, giving stuff a go. And there was a deal going on where if you bought the silicone milk collectors, you also got a free like bag to put them in. So it comes with that. It's got all these little holes, which I wonder if maybe a good little holder for these. So when I go to the hospital, I can have my milk collector in this and the colostrum collector in the little pouches. Even though when I'm at the hospital, I'm presuming I'm probably only going to be getting some colostrum to begin with, not full-blown milk, because it takes a few days. Is that it for the baby buys? Yes, it is. Right, in other news, I am so pleased to say that I'm finally better. Can I tell you what, look, in hindsight, looking back, December was a bloody awful month for me. I keep saying it's my heart problems and stuff, and so if you don't know, I keep having like a racing heart, and it felt really horrible, and it would drain me to the point of not being able to get out of bed, not being able to do housework or cook or anything like that. And it was just a really awful month. I love Christmas. I just couldn't get into it. We were looking at Christmas lights, and every few lights I'd just have to sit in the car because I was just so exhausted and I didn't feel festive, and I was just having a really miserable time all through December. And now I look back, I'm like, wow, that was a really awful start to my pregnancy. Luckily though, I have not really had any problems with morning sickness, or nausea or anything like that. I've actually had this pregnancy pretty gosh darn well, to be honest. So I'm very pleased about that. So the only symptoms that I can really talk about is, so this is one that's popped up only in the past week, so week 14 to 15. And that is my sense of smell has just gone berserk. I recall only in Micah's pregnancy, I went to the baby show. I was about 12 weeks pregnant, and in one of the packs I had purchased, I got a sample of oil for your face. And I love the stuff now. But at the time, it smelt so bad that I had to hold my breath and go like this, and just put it on and hold my breath. Otherwise, I'd want to vomit. It smelt so bad. Funnily enough, I still use that product today, and it doesn't have a smell at all. There is no scent to it. So obviously that was like a pregnancy thing where it just picked up the scent, and it was freaking awful. Well, I'm finding that again now. All of a sudden, a shampoo that I've been using since pre-pregnancy is now smelling disgustingly sweet. Like every time I have a shower, I have to hold my breath because I'm not going to buy a new shampoo. I'm just going to finish the one I have. So I just wash my hair really, really fast and get all the water in it and try and just keep the scent away from my nose because it makes me feel really, really awful. It's like a watermelon scent. I remember it being really nice and I loved it when I first started using it. And now that my hyper-pregnancy smell symptoms have come out, it smells bloody awful. My sense of taste has also gone weird. So it seems to be, rather than morning sickness and all of those kind of typical pregnancy symptoms, I'm getting more of the taste and smell is all weird. It's completely whacked. Things smell weird. Things that I usually like now smell awful. I remember in Mila's pregnancy, actually, I remember getting out my car once and the road was being freshly tar sealed. And I remember the bitumen smelling absolutely delicious. How weird is that? Like I knew, I was like, this is so weird. It smelled so sweet and really yummy, which is weird. And I knew it was weird, but I just thought at the time it was quite funny. So obviously these things can happen. Another pregnancy symptom, which has carried on since the day I got pregnant, is sore boobs. Just so unbelievably sore. I do wonder if it's because I'm like outgrowing my bras. My boobs have gotten way bigger. I'm 15 weeks pregnant. Why are they so big? But they've gotten so big and so heavy and so sore. I just cannot believe how sore they are. I take my bra off at the end of the day and it just hurts so bad. So I might go and get some wireless bras today. I'm going to go do some shopping today because it's Micah's birthday tomorrow. He's turning 6. My baby, my youngest, is turning 6. Crazy. So I'm going to go and try and find some wireless bras that are an extra bigger size and also some clothes that actually fit. I feel like I'm going to be spending this money on buying these clothes, and then I'm going to have to repurchase them as I get bigger for a new season. But, you know, you are pregnant for 9 months, so you can't help that. But it's really hot right now, and then in a month and a bit, it's going to get really cold. So whatever, I can't help that. So my last midwife appointment, I don't know if I said it in my week 14 vlog. Now I can't remember what I've said when. I'm so sorry. Terrible. My blood pressure was way too high. It was really, really high. So they put me on labetalol, which I've been on in each pregnancy before. So that's, I totally get that. And then they also put me on aspirin. Apparently it helps with small babies. That's what saying that I was going to say before about small babies, my baby size. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm hiccuping, burping, and yawning at the same time. Because Micah was so teeny tiny, and the other babies were quite small too, but not quite as bad as Micah, my placenta kind of starts giving up, which is a classic sign of preeclampsia and having high blood pressure and that kind of thing in pregnancy. It can do that. So my placenta keeps giving out, and so my babies are small. So this pregnancy, don't know why it wasn't prescribed in other pregnancies, but in this pregnancy, they've prescribed me aspirin, and they said it will help because I have small babies. But now I'm like, oh my God, don't give me a too big a baby. I don't want a huge baby. I like my little tiny babies. So we'll see how that goes. I have to take it to 37 weeks. And that's obviously because you don't want to be taking it after 37 weeks, because then you go to give birth. What happens when you give birth? You can have blood loss. And of course, I'm having a C-section. The worst thing I could do right now is have a blood thinner when I'm going to be getting cut open. So that's obviously why you stop it at 37 weeks. I may be stopping it sooner. I really genuinely don't see myself getting past 37 weeks at all. Probably give birth at 37 weeks or even earlier. But I am due to have an appointment with an obstetrician, my very first OB appointment for this pregnancy. That's not a normal thing in New Zealand. You don't like have a midwife and an OB in a normal pregnancy. You just usually have your midwife, or if you want to go privately, you can go get an obstetrician. But midwives, they're so homely. They come to your home, or you can go to their clinic. They're there with you throughout the whole pregnancy and after and all that. Whereas an obstetrician, like, it's more doctory. So yeah, but anyway, so I've had what we call shared care. I've had my midwife, and then as soon as my pregnancies start getting really complicated, which is usually in the 3rd trimester, I have to have shared care because I have to have an obstetrician as well, because my pregnancy is now not normal and it's more high risk. This pregnancy, I honestly thought that I was going to have to just go straight to an OB and forget about a midwife, and the midwives I called were like, no, that's fine, we can still have shared care. And I was like, great, I'm glad for that, because I love my midwives way better than going into an obstetrician. I wouldn't even remember what my obstetrician's names are, whereas I know what all of my midwives' names are. So I'm seeing a midwifery collective. So it's a group of like 6 midwives who work together, who basically can be the best midwives they can be because they're not overworked. So normally in New Zealand, your lead maternity carer, maybe your midwife, she'll look after you the whole pregnancy, right? And she'll be looking after however many women she looks after in those months. Whereas this is a collective of women. So every time I've had an appointment, I've seen a different midwife, but there's like a max of 6 or something. So you don't see the same midwife every time. So my last appointment was actually my midwife I had with Mila Rose and Roman. So it was really nice to see her, and she was like, oh my God, you're having another baby. So it's quite good, and I'm not bothered that I'm not seeing the same midwife every time, because for the baby, I really don't care. And I'm seeing an obstetrician as well, because my pregnancy is already high risk because of an inverted T incision that happened with my emergency C-section with Micah. I feel like all of that was such a mouthful. So I am seeing a midwife and an obstetrician. First obstetrician appointment next week, which is quite exciting. I can't wait to see what they have to say about this inverted T incision. No one's really told me a heck of a lot of information about it, other than it's high risk and I'm not allowed to give birth naturally and I have to have a C-section. And yeah, so I'll be like, so what do you reckon? Like, is this kind of pregnancy am I gonna get to 37 weeks? When do you usually do your C-sections? Do you wait till 40 weeks? What happens? So yeah. All right, that's kind of all I can think of off the top of my head. I know I would have forgotten things, but I will try and write them down for my week 16 pregnancy vlog, which is crazy. I cannot believe I'm 15 already. But anyway, so let's do a belly shot because I haven't done one in any of these vlogs so far, which is crazy. And don't mind the fact that I'm wearing a pretty flowery, nice breezy top and then some random like real casual shorts. I'm going out soon, so I will get coordinated in a minute, okay? Alright, you guys,